Hunter is absolutely gonna be the strongest class in Wrath of the Lich King. All right, now that I've got your attention, I actually obviously was kind of joking there, but it is honestly probably the most underrated class in my personal opinion. I think it's going to be extremely powerful, and I think everyone in any sort of guild that's at the highest quote unquote level has already been looking at potentially bringing more than one hunter because they're actually crazy strong in this next expansion. But one thing I'm asked all the time is, how do I play Hunter moving on into Wrath of the Lich King? With the new expansion, the class changes quite a bit, and we want to look at today how you can play Hunter in the pre-patch and for leveling. So looking at both different specs, looking at the glyphs, your rotation, everything I can really think about on how to play Hunter well, moving on all the way up to 80. Anyways, let's dive right in. Well, let's start things off by looking at what the changes are to Hunter as we move into Wrath of the Lich King. One of the first and most immediate changes you'll notice is you can no longer clip your auto shots. Auto shots are on their own timer, although they are also on the same timer as your melee swings. So you no longer can melee weave. These are the two biggest changes realistically to the playstyle of the class. You're no longer worried completely about rhythm, you are now worried more on your actual normal rotation. The next thing is that beast training changes. So your pets completely change in the fact that they have different types of pets, and the best pet is just kind of without a doubt a wolf. I'm just gonna drop that for you right now, and I'll show you where to get the highest level wolf you possibly can. And your pet's talent tree should look something like this, moving on into Wrath of the Lich King. Next thing to know is that aspects are off of the global cooldown. So you can aspect weave if you want, which you didn't really do often in the Burning Crusade, but now we will have some mana issues, so switching over to aspect of the Viper is actually going to be crucial to overall damage in a raid. But do know that aspect of the Viper does cut your DPS by 50%. So you do 50% less damage, but you gain a crazy amount of mana. Next is that Hunter traps have now changed to their own specific categories. Explosive trap now does a crazy amount of damage. It is no longer extremely weak, and this is the first thing that lets us go into Hunters being really strong on AoE damage. That and the change to Volley. Volley is now a channeled spell that you have no cooldown on. It hits for a ton of damage, and it can also crit. So every time you are doing any sort of chain pulling or a big pull, you're going to use Mass Direct into an explosive trap into Volley and just chain Volley and watch yourself do so much damage and shoot up the meters. Next, you're going to want to know that Kill Command is a 1-minute CD, so you're no longer spamming Kill Command if you have it on any of your kind of like macros. Take it off because it will gimp your DPS. And lastly, I want to mention is that Hunters now cannot dispel things with Arcane Shot. You can dispel magic abilities with your Trank Shot. Other than that, those are the major key class changes other than talking about the specific specs themselves. When you log into the pre-patch, you're gonna be a little bit confused because you have new talent points, you have so much to learn, you don't know the new abilities. What do you want to do to set things up first? Well, to set up your character, the first thing you want to do is head over to your major city and buy dual spec. This will allow you to have now 2 major talent specs. Then go to your stable master right by the trainer and make sure you buy 2 new pet slots. Then you can pick your spec. In the background, I'm going to show both a marksman and a survival single target spec that are going to be really useful for actually playing in the pre-patch. And then if you want to know a leveling spec, which I think is the most powerful leveling spec, I would check out my leveling spec video or my leveling video, just kind of going over the play style of Hunter because it is so much different in Wrath of the Lich King. As you're picking your spec, make sure to go into your interface and go into features and click preview talent changes. This is crazy that it's not automatically set on checked, but basically what this does is makes it so that whenever you're changing your talents, instead of it automatically choosing the talents for you, you can reset that or you can learn that. So instead of just choosing the talents, boom, 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 I can just decide, actually, that was wrong. I accidentally clicked something wrong. I can take it away. Now we're going to train our wolf. And the highest level wolf in the entire game that you can currently train is a level 67 wolf, the Blood Maul Battle Warg. You can go find these up here in Blade's Edge. Now, you don't need to train as many wolves as you want for level 80 because you actually can train yourself level 80 wolves instantly and you won't have to level them up. You're not really worried about loyalty or anything anymore. You can just go up here towards the Terrace of the Makers in Storm Peaks and you can tame those wolves yourselves at level 80. Okay, so if you choose to play Marksman, the way to play as any hunter is to make sure you keep up Hunter's Mark. Then you're gonna make sure you're keeping up Serpent Sting. And as Marksman, your Serpent Sting actually stays up basically forever. So you wanna snapshot it as powerful as you can, and then you won't have to refresh anything because then your next highest prio ability is gonna be Chimera Shot. And Chimera Shot's your new ability, your new main ability, which makes you do a ton of damage. So Chimera Shot next, this will refresh your Serpent Stings. Then your next prio is Aim Shot into Arcane Shot. Only specific people are actually using Arcane Shot. It's not actually fully figured out if this is higher DPS. And then your filler is gonna be Steady Shot. So you're just kind of chaining Steady Shot until you have Chimera Shot back up again and rinse and repeat. Next, we look at Survival, one of the most fun builds in the game. This is actually where you're getting a much more unique rotation. And that's because you actually have some procs. First up, always keep up Hunter's Mark. Then the next thing is Explosive Shot. This is like the best feeling ability a hunter ever gets. It is so insanely powerful. What Explosive Shot does is hit the target and then it ticks them for damage that can also crit, but also you want to make sure that you're not clipping the actual dot from it. So there's a 2-second dot that you add after you shoot this ability, but also if you get a proc from your Lock and Load talent, as I'm showing right now, from either a trap or a black arrow, then you will have your next 3 explosive shots be instant cast and no CD. The way to deal with this is to always use either an instant cast ability, but what you don't want to be doing is actually steady shotting. It's actually a DPS loss because it will stop you from doing your next explosive shot on time. Steady shot is just a filler. So let me just go down in prio of these abilities. Explosive Shot is your highest damage dealing ability. Always use this exactly off of cooldown other than when you're clipping. There is a projectile, so it takes a time to get there, so you could shoot early. Black Arrow or Trap are your next highest prio. Make sure you're keeping up Serpent Sting and Steady Shots as your filler. If you're confused at all about these rotations, again, I go way more in depth in my guide, but also remember you now have target dummies in all of your major cities, so you can just sit there and practice yourself. Or you can come over to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Sarthe, and ask me the questions individually. I will always be happy to help you out. The professions that you're gonna be looking out to level are gonna be always engineering. No matter what, engineering is just absolutely vital in this next expansion. And past that, you can choose, but I would choose jewel crafting if I was focused on min-maxing PvE. And as for glyphs, you only really have one really good glyph right now in pre-patch, which is your Glyph of Serpent Sting. You can use this for both specs, and that's pretty much it, guys. That's everything you need to know for pre-patch for a hunter in Wrath of the Lich King. Enjoy playing this class during the pre-patch. You're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna realize that other than them taking away melee weaving, hunters are still one of the most fun classes in this entire next expansion. Of course, I will have a Death Knight pre-patch guide coming very soon, as well as quite a few other guides. So again, if you like the content, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, just let me know in the comments if there's any other class you want me to do a pre-patch guide for, or even just a full guide for, because I will be trying to knock out a few other ones with the help of a few other much better players at all the classes than me. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Oh yeah, and if you're looking to level really quickly, make sure to grab the Rested XP guide below. It is super helpful. You don't have to get it, but it does help out the channel. But also, because we did hit 1,000 subs on the Twitch channel, I will be doing a limited time merch giveaway for some free merch very soon on the Twitch channel, so stay tuned for that.